I tried to promote Don a couple times, but it didn't work.
I allowed Don to talk so he can speak even if his thing doesn't work.
Okay.
And then everyone, I'm going to go ahead and hit live stream. Promote Don a couple times.
Yeah, no, I think I can see everybody. I hope.
All right, we can certainly hear you. Excellent.
Hey, can you see me?
No.
Oh, well, I can see all of you. What happened?
Don, I have such a
You
thing
might have to start video.
to be promoted to panelist. You're allowed to talk, but unless you hit promote to panelist, it won't let you view, or it won't let people view you.
Oh, okay.
So it should give you a little pop-up button that says something like,
Okay, join as panelist. Okay,
Yes,
that's
There you go. I still
I'll
can't
jump
hear
in
you,
here.
Cindy. I see
Hear
you.
me?
Yes.
oh, okay. Well, now my name's in a little box with no picture. There we go. I don't know. The host has asked you to start your video. Okay, just there we go.
The person on the phone, you asked if we could hear you. We said yes, but you kind of got cut off in there. Could you state your name again, please?
Yeah, this is Jordan Hudson. I don't know why it's not showing my name.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
all right, I'm going to go ahead and switch you back to host.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, it looks
you,
like,
you gave me a name. Thanks.
oh yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Nice. John's got all figured out. Cindy, can we test your sound one more time? No, still don't have sounds.
I'm on here twice.
Oh,
again.
now I hear you.
I heard something. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the deal was, but it suddenly popped. So you're
Okay.
ready.
So, if Jared, if you just want to run this, because it's a work session.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much. I think we'll get started. We might have, a person or two, join us here later. But in the meantime, this evening we have a presentation by Cheney Bostic with Studio Seed regarding the draft downtown master plan that Studio Seed and their consulting group has put together. So, this project kicked off a while back in the kind of late spring. And so we're excited to have a draft and to get comments get comments from the planning commission and then on to city council. And we're also going to seek comments from the business community as well. So with that, I'd like to turn over to Cheney, and please, Cheney, let me know if you need permission to share your screen or anything like that.
Looks like I can share my screen. I'll start just by saying hello to those of you that I haven't met before. I'm Cheney Bostic with Studio Seed, the lead firm on the downtown plan. We also have a team of sub-consultants on our team, including HDR for transportation and engineering, EPS for economics and implementation, and Dig Studio as the as a landscape designer. So this is exciting time. We're in draft plan mode. We welcome your feedback. Hopefully you've had time to look through the packet and we can get into specific questions, but I'll just give a quick presentation so you can kind of know how the process has gone and where all of these ideas came about. So let me just try sharing screen here. And I think I'll just share the screen and then.
There we go.
Okay, are you seeing the notes? Like, are you seeing the slide and then the next slide? Let me try this again. Let me get this right. Share screen. We had. Okay, how about now? Can you see just a full screen? Okay.
Yeah, just about. Downtown Idaho Springs.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so this is a presentation to Planning Commission on October 6th. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so in the plan, we have 6 chapters for introducing sort of a 20-year vision for downtown. So this is long-term, but we've broken it into chunks that we can hopefully implement, some things in the next 2 to 3 years, some things in the next, 3 to 5 years, and so on. So we start with an introduction and context, and then establish a vision and a framework for the plan. And then the guts of the plan are really tied to these chapters 3, 4, and 5. Those are the content topics. And so each of those chapters are organized and include a presentation of challenges and opportunities in each of those topics. And then they identify 3 catalyst projects as well as other projects. And then finally, an implementation chapter with a matrix for timelines, estimated timelines and how the city could implement this plan, as well as high-level costs. So as I said, it starts out with introduction and context. We really this is for the audience reading this plan. You really set the stage on, what this plan is for, how to use it. We reference past studies that looked at similar challenges in downtown, and then the process and timeline, which we are now in October. So the project kicked off in, May. We went through summer with some community engagement and an online survey and a community workshop in Charette. And then we've spent the last few months developing this draft, and now we're taking it so we presented to the Downtown Improvement Working Group and Economic Recovery Task Force, and you are our second group to present to the draft plan. And we're hoping to wrap it up and go through council by the end of this year. So the plan also sets the stage for, downtown history and identity. This was a theme that was so important. I'm sure you're very familiar with that sentiment, but Idaho Springs is special and it has a lot of history. So we wanted to acknowledge that. We got some wonderful photographs from the library and the Historical Society. So that was great. We also talk about demographics and trends, just kind of a snapshot of Idaho Springs today. And just to highlight, those statistics where you have a population of about 1,800. That includes a little over 900 households. Median age is around 43, median income 43,000, and you have about 800 jobs. So this sets the stage for, again, it's just a snapshot of Idaho Springs today. And then on the bottom, you can see we also tracked some trends. So things that have been happening in the past 10 years, which is always fun to look at. Next is vision and framework. And really what we did to establish the vision and set the stage for the plan is engage the community in an online survey, which we were really pleased. We got 135 total responses back. That's both online, and a lot of them were handed in on paper copies, and then I inserted them into the online version. so that we could get a snapshot of everything. But we asked, describe your relationship to downtown Idaho Springs. And basically the takeaway is that most respondents did live, work or shop and dine downtown. We asked what are the top activities that bring you downtown. Most people visit downtown to dine, although shopping and special events were also a draw. Which statement closely relates your perception to Minor Street? Here on 5, I'm going this way. So most people really enjoyed the marketplace and wanted it to stay either year round or seasonally. Most people, respondents were locals. They passed through downtown either every day or a few times a week by majority. We asked, what do you think downtown needs more of? And we listed a lot of things to choose from. And the number one thing was parking, followed by an entertainment venue, and then small market to buy groceries and outdoor space and parks. So that was elevated in our response to the plan. And a fun one, if you had $1 million to donate to the city, what would you spend it on? And probably no surprise, a parking structure was number one. And then there was, these 4 were really close: Minor Street Marketplace, improving downtown parks and public restrooms, preservation of historic buildings, and building more affordable housing for employees to live in the city. So that's we took all of those themes. There was also an end write-in response that we looked through in detail. These were write-in responses to a statement that started with, in 2040, Idaho Springs is, and then you fill in the blank. And so from those responses, we summarized what the community really wants the future of Idaho downtown to be. They thought the small town charm was important, that it be historically preserved, that it be thriving, vibrant, and inviting, not just for tourists, easy to park and navigate, a unique destination, family friendly, not too crowded, affordable, clean and well maintained, and open past 5 p.m. And then we also engaged with the DIWG, the Downtown Working Group, and the Economic Recovery Task Force in a series of meetings. And this kind of summarizes those business and property owner themes. They, in terms of, testing out the marketplace, they loved it, but they wanted it to not preclude auto travel in the future. So maybe keeping it flexible, especially in the winter when there's not as many tourists and people downtown. Staffing is a major concern. It is everywhere, but we heard that a lot from business owners. An entertainment district is desired. That's a state statute that is would allow, something like the marketplace for you to grab a drink and then go into the street and play cornhole and things like that. So it doesn't limit where you can take alcohol. So looking into that was desired. A movable stage for events. They were supportive of the parking structure, like the idea that, considering a transit or trolley, especially on like high capacity weekends to circulate guests through downtown. More housing everywhere. Celebrating a railroad theme, again, going back to the history. Coordinating with the 4 Points development. Looking at opportunities to load the alleys with more retail for smaller businesses and entrepreneurs. We talked about the future of the skate park location, and then also Water Wheel Park. So following all of this, and as part of this feedback, we hosted a charrette and workshop on June 30th and July 1st. These are just some pictures of our team meeting with business and property owners, and then the general public in a fun evening walk through downtown. And just a framework map that kind of summarizes all of these themes that I just talked about. So we kind of dissolved this down into these framework elements. So regardless, this is, we don't have a crystal ball. We think that you need to focus on these things, but I always like to come back to framework elements so that if anything changes, leadership, policy, codes, anything, that you can always come back to these elements and make sure that anything going to downtown is serving these solutions. So number one, solving the parking problem. Number 2, creating a welcoming environment and seamlessly directing people to parking and destinations. Number 3, invest unique placemaking projects. Number 4, maintain historic character and increase housing choices downtown. Number 5, enhance the downtown experience with expanded and improved parks and open space. And number 6, work with partners to help implement the vision, such as private developers. Getting into the key projects. So under mobility and parking, the 3 catalyst projects that we present in the plan are number 1, getting the parking structure built and helping to solve that parking problem. Number 2, look at other parking improvements. So we have a list of all the existing and potential future spaces. You can see there at the bottom of that grid is you've got 535 spaces today, but in the plan, we kind of document an opportunity to add 230 spaces there. So looking at those in the sketch on the top is, if the school does relocate, the elementary school, looking at, really highlighting that site for opportunities to serve downtown and your needs, such as parking and housing. And then number 3, really gateway improvements, just like at exit 241 with the roundabout and the cool structure there that invites people to downtown and lets them know that there's somewhere special. We should also focus on those improvements downtown. Chapter 4 is tourism and recreation. So the first catalyst project that we present is improvements to Citizens Park. We heard a lot from the community and stakeholders that the existing layout of Citizens Park isn't as efficient or usable as it could be. So we explored just, a concept here where, when Minor Street Marketplace is implemented, perhaps 16th Avenue could be a flexible street and you could really expand that area for more plaza-like activities where people have more space to gather. They can bring their own chairs. Maybe there's a pop jet fountain for kids, going back to the family friendly, people wanting it to be family friendly, and perhaps bringing back a historic gazebo. So these are all ideas and explorations for Citizens Park. Number 2 is improvements to Anderson Park. This sketch envisions, these are just advancing sort of things that are already being thought about. So putting a structure over the train so that it can be preserved, adding some family friendly, again, just a little play area for kids and something for families to do downtown while they're walking around. There is this park in Breckenridge that was a great precedent for us. So you could look at some pictures there. And then number 3 is for tourism and recreation is really coming up with a signage and wayfinding plan and implementing that. So here are some pictures of what that could look like, just to give some consistency to downtown and really help with that, making downtown easier to navigate and get around. And finally, land use and vitality. So under this, the number 1 catalyst project would be Minor Street Marketplace. We looked at both a long-term solution where, if and when funding becomes available, you could redesign the entire street to be more of a flexible street and accommodate more space for pedestrians and outdoor dining. We also have short-term improvements and recommendations for, in the interim, while you're raising money, you could do some things that are less expensive, but also continue to the theme of what you've already been doing and that success, but make it a little more cohesive in terms of aesthetics and materiality. So here are just, again, still in the marketplace, a rendering. Again, these are just concepts at this stage, but showing how this area could function a lot like it does today and during the marketplace hours where there's people. This is the main thoroughfare for pedestrians and people playing cornhole and activities. And then you can actually expand the sidewalk, add trees and seating. And then you can see over here 2 sections. The top one being, when it is a pedestrian mall, and then the bottom one being, perhaps in in the winter, you could still allow cars to come along Minor Street. Maybe you have emergency parking for accessible and deliveries. So we just didn't want to preclude that idea. And that's what we heard from the business owners. And then the other catalyst projects under land use and vitality are looking at rebranding, design, and activation of Idaho Mall. So continuing on the success again of what you've started, but really formalizing that and bringing about the identity of Idaho Mall as a former railroadway. So using that theme of railroads and materialities and signage and perhaps in the pavement. And then finally, administratively, the city should look at regulatory changes and incentives to create a true mixed use and vibrant downtown. So look at, addressing your parking requirements, prioritizing affordable housing, and looking at incentives for activating those upper floors of existing buildings along Minor Street. Finally is the implementation chapter. So we list a variety of funding tools, knowing that this can't all be funded by your general budget or capital improvements budget. It needs to be a combination of, state, federal, local, private, philanthropic. So we list a ton of those resources to look into. And then a recommendation, which has been recommended in the past, but really focusing on organization and management of your downtown, either through a downtown development authority, a business improvement district, or an urban renewal authority. And then finally, I won't go through all these, but there are a list of projects, and so what we just went through in the previous chapters are sort of summarized, including what the project is, what category it meets, what a description, estimated cost range, how you might fund it, and then partners to look for. And so those are identified in short-term projects. So what you can start next year and maybe get done in the next 2 years. And then midterm looking, 2 to 7 years. And then finally, more longer-term projects that are 7+ years. And so next steps, we will be at Jared and John will be at the chamber event at Tommyknockers, which is a community event on October 13th from 5:30 to 7:30. That'll be a public presentation of the draft plan. On October 18th, we will have a work session with City Council. We're looking for, generally by Halloween or end of October to get final comments back on the draft plan. And then around Thanksgiving, turn back final plan. And in December, go back to Planning Commission to recommend to City Council. And in January 2022, you get to work and work on all these fun projects and making downtown Idaho Springs better. So I think that is my last slide. And I can go back to any slides if you'd like or have any questions. For now, I was gonna stop sharing. I can't find. Jared, can you?
It might be hidden at the top. Let me see. Otherwise, view options. Oh, I can stop it. There we go.
Okay,
All
I
right.
had that problem last time.
Well, thank you very much, Cheney. Do we have any comments, questions, input regarding the draft plan? You can always, you're certainly not restricted to tonight to provide comment, as Cheney mentioned. She's hoping for comment by the end of the month. And you can always reach out to me or Studio Seed, and we'd be happy to either discuss it or receive an email, etc. So I think I see, oh, Cindy has her hand up. We lost your volume again, Cindy. Can anybody else hear Cindy?
No.
No, maybe call in.
type it in the chat?
Still not hearing you.
Yeah, still not. Well, while we get that figured out, I saw Ursula has her hand up as well.
Thank you. Hello everyone. I figure I'll just share my thoughts. I think in general, it's a good concept. I like that it's trying to connect different things and trying to make them work together and be efficient. A couple things, and this can be just because the package is not completely done, but first, before I got to the draft ideas that you guys have presented, I saw pictures of areas, like mall areas, walkable for pedestrians that were very like city-like. And I was kind of like, oh no, there's no greenery, Obviously later on I got to that part and I was like, oh, okay, no, they do have a lot of trees there. But I just figure I mentioned that I feel that that's very important. I'm gonna read a couple of, also I'm gonna read a couple of sentences or words mainly that I read throughout the document that I feel I would like to rescue and just mention out loud for everyone to hear. The mountain feel, 21st century solutions, uniqueness, implemented to the full potential, sustain the future of downtown, and not auto-oriented. I think all those words are pretty important. I do worry a little about the feel of that huge parking structure. Even on this drawing, I don't know if you can see it very well. It feels like once the parking is there, there's like this big corner that kind of stops, everything that is happening on one side. So I was thinking, I don't know if it will be possible to try to connect those. So it's not just like it ends here and that's a parking lot, that's a building, it's a wall, That was one of my thoughts about that. And then I was thinking about, solutions, sustainability, all that kind of stuff. I was thinking, what else could make us, unique in a way that not that changes our character, but they takes advantage of all the changes that need to happen. And this might be just a crazy idea, so just take it for what it is. But when we started building the community garden years ago, and even, often we hear people mentioning, oh, you guys, we should have a greenhouse. And, and people has talked about wanting to have the farmer's market. And I just thought, wow, we're going to have to build this huge structure. I don't know exactly what the design will be, but wouldn't it be awesome that if this structure could also be a greenhouse where you have a, like an active farmer's market in there? I don't know. Crazy idea, like I said, but like, what else can we make this unique? Not only to make it look good for people that drives by, but also for ourselves. What other benefits can we find for the actual community? And talking about community, I saw one of the last recommendations. You say work with the private sector to partner and assist in delivering some of the desired outcomes. Not that I think you haven't included the community, but I feel like community should also be included, residents, not just the owners, although I understand they are the ones that will be doing mostly the voting and all that stuff. My last thing, I promise, is small town charm. I am a little bit worried about not being able to achieve that with the circulation that is going to be needed. I mean, I saw the roundabout. I understand the roundabouts have evolved a lot and they're like more pedestrian friendly, but I feel like that will make it more auto oriented, and in a way, just because of the roundabouts that we have in town, at least, they kind of make the scale a little whack because this makes it space so much bigger, you know. So yeah, the scale of, you know, a small mountain town with the roundabout that is mentioned and the parking structure that is going to be a big thing there. And yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Those are great comments. Let's see, Cindy, are you with us? Can we hear you? Did you want to try to ask your question?
That to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, there we go. We can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck is going on here. I guess some of the comments back to Ursula, this is something that the downtown businesses in the downtown district has been.
Oh, no.
It might be a proximity issue. We lost you, Cindy. It might be proximity to your mic. Try.
Right here in front of it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it's a brand new computer, so I don't know what's
Nope,
going
you're gone
on with
again.
it. Oh my God.
Oh, I
No, I can hear you.
oh, no, we did lose you again.
Maybe like sign off and then come on again, and maybe it'll get rid of your extra you, your hidden twin.
Maybe if you kill the video too, it might let you speak.
Yeah, we lost you mid-sentence, Cindy. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, while we wait for Cindy to reconnect, anyone else have questions, comments, etc.? I'll see if I can
I have a
send.
question.
Oh, please go
Can you
ahead.
guys hear me okay? I was looking at this packet and something just struck me. Page 21, where it outlines current parking. Everything identified in number 2 is current parking. Is the lot across from the Elks Lodge public parking currently?
Oh, good catch. Good catch. That's supposed to be dashed as a future
Yeah, that'd be awesome if that was public parking.
partnership.
It-
Yeah, sorry
It
about
just
that.
sits
Good.
empty all the time. So I was really excited when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, if that's actually public parking, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
My other question was, the vision for downtown, for Citizens Park, it says remove unhealthy trees. Just curious if the giant pine trees that are super old are included as unhealthy trees or if those would be preserved in the current vision.
I am not sure. I would have to ask our landscape architect. I'm not the expert at identifying those. I mean, in general, I can say that, you know, the next study would identify those. I don't know that we actually have pointed to each individual tree yet, but that would be like our recommendation would be that the future design save existing healthy trees and look to remove unhealthy trees.
Gotcha. Just a general recommendation. I hear you.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just
I just
another
ask-
comment. I love the parking. Go ahead, Kate.
No, thanks, Jordan. Hey, nice to see you again. I'm just curious, who drove this study, if you don't mind me asking? Who asked for the study? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so the study was originally proposed prior to me getting on board, but from what I recall, it started for a couple of reasons, and Cheney kind of outlined some of those in the report. One of them was a reexamination of downtown after the new Minor Place Market had taken effect, and we had uh, some data there to see that people really did enjoy it, and to see what we thought the longevity of that market or something similar would be. So that's one item. Another one was the the funding from CDOT for the Transportation Mobility Center. We thought, well, if we are really serious about this mobility center, we should really look at any improvements or potential plan for the future of all of downtown.
So again, let me just go back. So Jared, it's post you getting on board, but who actually, I'm asking this for various reasons, but who drove the study? Because it does cost the city money, and it has been done before. So I want to be very clear. I'm just asking who was the actual person that said, hey, or the entity that made this happen. Was it you? And that's totally fine. I'm not putting any load on that. I'm just asking a question.
That's a great question. I wish I knew the exact answer. I know it was something that was approved by city council. I'm not sure if it was a staff.
So it's probably council. No big deal.
Yeah, it was approved by council. We did have
Right.
an RFP that went out prior to my arrival, and a procurement process that resulted in bringing Studio Seed on board.
And everything is great. Cheney is doing amazing. But what I'm saying is that council has done, again, a thing to planning commission, which I will not be on for much longer, but they put a very big burden on planning commission to make this huge recommendation to council. And Cindy, I'm talking to you specifically because I think it's a very big endeavor for one night, for one work session, that we look at.
Well, we're not making a
I
Can you
know,
hear me?
I'm just saying,
Yes, we
yeah,
can.
we can. And thank you,
Okay.
yeah. I'm just saying that it's a big endeavor for council to put on planning commission to come back within I think it's like 2 months to determine whether this is a good enough plan for the city to go back to council. That's all I'm saying. I will put myself.
Okay, does
Okay,
anybody
can I
else have
continue
more
with my comment?
questions?
It looks like an
I
interest.
did, but I was yielding to Katie for a minute, or Kate. I'm sorry, Kate. I didn't mean to call you Katie. I loved in one of those pictures that you guys were recommending taking. Was that recommending like taking the street and the sidewalk to the same level, but still allowing car traffic at certain times? That's awesome. I think that's really, really great. Because the curb right now just kind of, I don't know, makes it a little difficult. Also, the parking garage, I love the pictures you guys have of like that tall 3-story parking garage. It's almost the same height as Tommyknockers. I think that's awesome, but I'm also really surprised it only adds like 200 spots. Does it have a subterranean level also, or is it just ground, second, and third in the current vision?
So it uses the existing grade. That area slopes down. So towards I-70, you would enter on the lower level, and then at Idaho Street, you would enter at the street level. So, and then, it's still being preliminarily designed and by a different group and a different effort. The city's trying to nail down, specifics in terms of funding. So it's not necessarily set in stone how it would function or how many levels, but that's kind of our assumption.
Gotcha. It's awesome. I would love to see that there. And I kind of agree with you, Kate, that this is pretty quick. Like if we could have a few more work sessions, or maybe after the more developed and expanded plan was put together, it's it seems like there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and we're making a lot of long-term decisions rather quickly. Even though I'm on board with almost all of them. I really like most of this plan, and I think it's really great. But I still see how like the optics could be that we're moving quickly. But at the same time, why drag it out forever if it's great? You know?
And Jordan, I agree with you 100%, but I think that is one of the things that is gonna like look at the audience. We'll look at this like we are just like making this new decision for downtown, and it's gonna like happen quite quickly. So you are on board with what, you know, I'm on board with the vision, but it's what, you know, it's how the public perceives it. So that's like trying to get onto the council.
I totally get where you're coming from there. That was all I had for now. I'm going to keep listening to what other people have, and something else might come up, but awesome work.
I know Tracy's had her hand raised a few times. Would you like to comment, Tracy? You're on mute, I'm sorry.
Okay, great. I was trying to mute myself so you wouldn't hear the cat. Regarding section 3, even though that this is not being discussed tonight, I've always felt strongly about this next thing I'll speak about. And I see it as an absolutely enormous elephant in the room. I don't have any suggestions on how to navigate this challenge, but basically, even though we've encountered a variety of opinions, irrespective of this particular plan regarding housing, I know we've said over and over, there's a million studies probably that we've done, and we know that we need it. Whether or not we get that housing and increase our population in Clear Creek has nothing to do with the inbound migration of people moving to Colorado. It's significant. It's going to continue to be significant. And we are 35 minutes west of Denver. And so no matter what our decisions are with residential housing, although we do know that we need it on all spectrums, not just affordable housing, but market rate housing additionally, our traffic is going to increase. And so I think a lot of these things have been addressed in section 3. But my elephant in the room, and like I said, I have no idea how to solve this problem. I'm more thinking that this problem can be solved by purchasing a piece right out of town from the county somehow and working a cooperative arrangement between the city and the county. But one of the things that has worked in so many places, and I see that this is vitally critical to our success downtown, is the ability to put in a transit system that people could just jump on and move through, be dropped off. I don't know how it's subsidized and paid for, but maybe we would do a pickup in the county just literally right outside of town from flat surface parking or something like that, where people could park their cars out of the direct area to relieve the parking flow, the inflow of parking requirements in the downtown, and do people moving. Because that has been such a potent solution in small towns, in large towns. We're going to do this parking structure, and we already know it's going to help mitigate some of the problem, but it's not going to solve the problem. The inbound migration is going to increase, and we have to look past a vision like this to add these additional solutions, which means, like I said, flat surface parking out there and transporting people in where they could be a little bit further out, and there isn't that competitive. There isn't the competition for parking in the residential areas that are not designated for that off of Colorado Boulevard, because, you know, years ago we said, I remember the comment, well, you know, people will never walk. Well, we're literally watching them walk, physically watching them walk from the front end of town, from the Columbine, from what was the Paradise Motel, all the way downtown. We know they want to be downtown, and we know they don't mind being further out. But if we could make that effort a little bit easier and add that as one of the projects within section 3, and like I said, I don't know how to solve it, but I think call it a catalyst project. Take a look at how we can create a solution there. Thank you.
Go ahead, Chair.
Thank you. Cindy, I heard you. Did you have a comments? Hopefully you're.
No, I was just, if people have more questions now's the time to ask them. I mean, this is kind of the first time it's brought to us, and then there's the public meeting. What is that on October 10th?
13th. So next Wednesday, it's in conjunction with the chamber meeting. So the chamber meeting will start at 5:30. I believe the presentation will be at 6, and that's at Tommy Knocker. And then it will go before city council in the same draft form on Monday. I believe it's the 18th. Yes. And then as Cheney mentioned, it will come back before Plan Commission and council in more of a final draft. That being said, I know that Cheney would like to get comments in at the end of the month. Yeah, if people do have a few other comments at the next Plan Commission, it's only a couple days away. I might be able to ask Cheney if we could kind of work on that and still just have a conversation amongst the Plan Commission. That may be a possibility if you're interested in it. To give it just give you a little more time to think about things.
Now, will we have a meeting after the public meeting? So we're October, so November, it could be discussed again at the November meeting.
Yeah, I know I don't want to put too much of a time crunch on Cheney, but yes, we could still have a conversation about it.
Okay.
Guys, the city can dictate the time frame. We're here to accommodate that. So, if more time is needed to talk through these, I'm taking notes, and I will take all of your concerns to city council as well in that work session, just so they hear that.
Okay.
I have another question, comment.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love the idea of more signage to help people understand how to get the parking and where it all is. For reference, for those of you that don't know, I live and work and spend 24/7 in downtown above Citizens Park pretty much. And one of the big things I see all the time is giant RVs and giant trucks with trailers trying to navigate downtown. And I don't see it on any of these plans, but the parking lot that's down by the bus stop would make a great place for designated oversized vehicle parking. And has it been considered that to put signage like no trailers, no RVs downtown, you have to park over here. It's literally a 1-block walk, but it'd be a way to alleviate a ton of constructions. I like to call it the parking lot games, because I'll sit out there and watch one giant vehicle hold up all the cars for a solid like 20 minutes. And everything just comes to gridlock because that one person is just like backing in and out, in and out, in and out, trying to make a corner. And if we could just have like a designated spot, like just right outside of downtown for all those giant vehicles, it might really help with the flow. And when they park across like 8 spots, because that's their only solution. And the parking people I've asked them, and I've gotten mixed results on if they get ticketed for that or if they don't. And it's kind of a mixed bag. Some say they ticket, some say they don't. But it would just be another thing that could really help with the downtown congestion, is if we could keep some of those giant vehicles from coming downtown. That's all.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. Tracy, did you have a response?
Well, towards that end, one of the challenges that we've had in terms of this redevelopment is the consideration of specific timeframes and also pathways for delivery vehicles bringing products and supplies in. We've had some unbelievably serious problems with large semis coming down the alley, making short-sighted turns and literally taking out the corners of the tops of buildings. So we need to be really specific in our information delivery on how these suppliers and how those large size product delivery vehicles, I guess is the best thing. They are very clear either with signage or, I'm not sure, help the information come from the businesses where they have a very specific travel path and a very specific set of delivery parameters in terms of time. So we're not in the middle of the public, because it does not appear to be working or working as well as it could be.
Indeed.
Hey guys, I just wanted to mention that I absolutely support all the proposals they have to add affordable housing or just housing in general in the downtown area and everywhere where we can in Idaho Springs. I think that's necessary. I think we know that the community doesn't really support big developments. So I think that we have to figure out other ways to fill up whatever we have space. So I support all those suggestions.
All right, thank you. Are there more comments?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
I think if anybody's interested, they should go to that meeting on the 13th. I would probably go. I'm out of town, so, but it would help then at the November meeting.
Absolutely. It'll be a very similar presentation, but it's still another opportunity to discuss the plan and offer more comments. So we'll be there as scribes to take them down.
Okay. Thank
Well-
you, Shani.
Yeah, thank you. I'll get with Jared and we'll figure out November and what that looks like. But in the meantime, you have the draft, and yes, there are some holes for pictures and things, but we were trying to meet this aggressive timeline. So I thought, some of those pictures were less important than the content, and the content's really there. And I've taken these notes. I'll document all of these, but feel free to send us. You can send either to me personally at my email or Jared. Will get them to me if you have thoughts after this, and can't wait to share them.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Have a good evening. Or you're welcome to stay on for the last item of the agenda too. So the other item on the agenda this evening is just a review of the monthly staff report. So just quickly go over that and then to answer any questions you may have. So the Plan Commission at last month's meeting had recommended approval with conditions of the 4 Points Digger Field development at called block 57, and the city council, or excuse me, this is just for the plan development. So there's the zoning of the parcel, not the final development plan. And the city council did approve that plan development on, I believe it was the 28th. So moving forward, 4 Points will be coming back before the Plan Commission with their final development plan at a meeting in the future. So we're working with them to facilitate getting them on an agenda. Code updates. I know that tonight we were planning also to talk about some code updates. I've been working a lot with 4 Points here lately, and unfortunately haven't had the time to continue to work on those code updates, but certainly do intend to here in the future and bring those back to you. Other activities, proposed housing at 2800 Minor. Staff is still working with an architect who's kind of drawing out some potential layouts there. Soda Creek Highlands, staff is also working with the developer, the developer that is proposing to build some single family units at Soda Creek Highlands. HPRC had a meeting and was addressed by Dr. Mary Therese Anstey of History Matters. She is doing a historic plan for the city and is really interested in getting feedback, input from residents as well as the population at large, even tourists. She's really looking for public engagement to round out this plan. So if you have any interest in getting involved, please let me know, and I'd be happy to put you in touch with her. And then I believe that's it. So any questions in regards to the monthly update?
Nope, I think that's all of them.
Yeah, that's it. That cover it. Yeah.
some of the code requirements, some of the stuff we talked about a couple meetings ago was the Airbnbs and the VRBOs. Did we
Yeah.
ever get any feedback on that?
Yeah, I did. I worked with attorney, our attorney, and did get some feedback. It does sound like we were able to implement our code as it reads. So we did want to talk with the Planning Commission about any changes that they may wish to make to that code, or if not, keep it as is and work with council on a enforcement plan. So those are all options that we'll be looking at. We also wanted to talk a little bit more about ADUs. I know that was a topic that was of interest. So wanted to bring and possibly clarifying some bed and breakfast requirements as well.
Okay, I think the short-term rentals, we just revisited before you came on, which unless somebody's got some other input, I think we need to move forward. I think we were under the impression that it was being implemented and that is the way it is being done until people start doing their research and they pop up all over the place. So I don't know what you mean by needing city council's input on enforcement. I guess I look at that maybe, and Andy's not on or anything, but a staffing thing that they should be just moving forward and doing it.
And honestly, that is the kind of input we're looking for.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm certainly happy now that we do have clarification from the attorney. Certainly happy to start working on an implementation plan and getting things moving. One of the things we did talk about as staff was there's an annual report or reporting from the people who have received licenses. So we've been contemplating sending out letters in December stating you need to provide your licensing information or your reporting information prior to January 1st.
Okay.
And then really having January 1st as a true kickoff date for enforcement, going through what we do have, seeing if people have abided by the rules and regulations. If not, working on determining whether or not they, if they don't meet the requirements, if they should be given a chance to meet the requirements. If not, opening up some of those licenses for people who will.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's realistic thinking January 1st. I mean, we're only 2.5 months out when you think about it. Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that. Is everyone else good with that? I just think we need to move forward with it. I think it's happening more and more. Yeah.
Hey, I just have a comment, not exactly tied to what we're talking right now, but it's about short-term rentals. I believe the county is looking into ways to get them identified. So I didn't know if you, Jared, know about it or not, and maybe you can contact them to see if we can work together, because finding them or identifying them is the hardest thing to do. Hopefully they can figure it out.
I think they've posted a few things on it, and then the town of Georgetown just, I think, regrouped and did theirs again too. I think if you pick up the Summit Daily every other day, there's an article on what they're readdressing too. And I think we're kind of right there with all of them, but now we just need to make it happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. The county did send out a referral in regards to updating some of their codes. Most of it was clarifying language, but they did have one section that talked about their cap. And I forget the exact specifics, but it was a percentage of pretty much all the unincorporated properties within Clear Creek. So it'd be on more of a percentage base than a hard cap, or than a hard numeric cap.
Okay, I'm good. I don't have anything else. Does anybody else?
Oh, Wonder does.
I can kind of speak from the administrative side about the STR stuff and all the, we get multiple calls every day of people interested in property in Idaho Springs. And their first question is, what are your rules on STRs? So it's definitely a hot topic inside and outside.
Yep.
So you're
Yep.
right.
If you watch, you can see some of the places that sold these last months, and all of a sudden you'll see them on VRBO. And then one of them advertised as we have no parking. There is a city policy and stuff on parking and paid parking, but give us your info and we'll get you the free parking pass. And then, or you can just keep driving around the block till you find something. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is how they described it on VRBO for this rental property. I'm not going to name the property, but I just thought, no, this is not good.
Cindy,
So-
that is absolutely exactly what we did not want. Like,
I know. And but we're not enforcing it yet. So that's the issue. That's why I brought it up again.
well,
It's
again,
still-
I mean, that means we need somebody on council that does like press the people that are enforcing this to enforce it, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's in my neighborhood, it's in your neighborhood, it's like all across town. It's ridiculous. It actually breaks my heart.
Yeah. I guess if we see that stuff, who's best to contact? Jared, yourself or Jonathan?
You can contact me.
Wonder?
Yeah, Wonder. Yeah, we'll probably be working with our code enforcement officer as well, Zach, on that. But you can contact me, absolutely. Yeah, it is unfortunate that we did hold off some enforcement activities due to some research that our attorney did. So I do regret that, but now that we do have direction, we do intend to move forward with that.
Yeah.
So in the very beginning, when we were putting together the original framework and the plan to try to move forward with vacation rentals, it was not long, maybe within a couple of months of the implementation of the original design that we laid out to get going, that I really realized and deeply regretted that we didn't address this one thing much more comprehensively. And I realized it was after the fact, but honestly, no matter when this is brought up or brought forward, maybe we'll have some angry people, but honestly, for me, the way to run this better, it ended up being an almost incomprehensible burden on the city staff. Wonder, I don't even know if you were there from the beginning, but this has just been hideous for them, and it was for the first year. And what we overlooked is, honestly, for me, as a property owner, if I intended to do this and we knew that we had a finite set of resources, we don't have an unlimited amount of space for these rentals. It's a privilege to do it. It's a privilege to earn income with that within the city limits. And honestly, I wish we had charged 10 times what we do for the application fee, because that's the way to pay for the enforcement piece. It should be ridiculously expensive to
I
get
agree.
them to do it.
But I think the fee schedule, don't we have it in the ordinances that fee schedules are separate? That the wording is you refer to the fee schedule, and the fee schedules can change without having to redo the whole thing?
I believe
mean-
that's the case. I can double check that, but I believe that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you usually do fees. I would think that hopefully we put that in there that way. And if not, then we should change that wording. I don't know what we have to go through to change that wording, that it refers back to the fee schedule. So then every year, or how often council's setting up those fee schedules, just like copy fees. I mean, any record fees, anything that people come to, that the fee can be changed. Because I agree with you. It seems like stuff keeps going up and we're not covering the costs. So,
And I have even heard from individuals that want to be applicants for the program. And they have said, you know, we would like it to be, you know, of course, the number increase, but we don't mind paying a much larger fee for it. I said, well, that's very nice. The fee might increase, but I don't know that the number will. So, yes.
okay. I'm done. Everyone else done? Anything else something to bring up? everybody get healthy.
Have a great night, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You too.
Have a- Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, Jared. Good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yep, bye.